Hello, how are you? I'm Julia, and for this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Ravenhood Trilogy by Kate Stewart. I went into these books blind with an open mind. If you can do that, I highly recommend doing that. If not, look up trigger warnings. I personally didn't have any. Maybe in the second book, but I'll explain that more. There's just an aggressive, there's a couple, so I'm not gonna say it. It's like an aggressive relationship, the second book. So toxic, which if you don't find that comfortable, if you're not comfortable with that, then I wouldn't read this, or just read the first one, and then leave the second and the third alone. You can do that. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but it very well could be. I'm sorry. I suck at not giving spoilers, so I'm going to explain the first one, and then that's it. This is non-spoilery review. So Flock follows Cecilia. She goes to her dad's town, who she has not... I don't think she's seen him since she was about 11 or 12. She used to spend every summer with him, and then she just didn't go one summer and she never went again. I can't remember exactly why. I think it's because he's kind of absent. So when she turns 18, she graduates from high school. Her dad is like, if you come work in my factory, I will pay for your college tuition and give you your inheritance. And she's like, okay. So she goes, and first day orientation, she meets Sean, and Sean kind of takes her under his wing and shows her the town and allows her to kind of like branch out, I guess. She meets new people, and yeah, that's about as much as I could tell you without giving spoilers. I really liked all of the characters in this. Sean made my heart melt. Dominic made my heart melt in a different way. Cecilia, at times, I thought was a little immature, but considering the mental difference between Sean and Dom and Cecilia, it made sense. Because I think she was obviously a little more sheltered than Sean and Dom, but Dom is also involved in this. I think that's a spoiler though, so that's all I'm going to say. I liked the mystery in this. I think the way that it was written and the way that the mystery was written was so well done, because there's kind of little hints, but not hints that you would be able to figure out what's going on, because like Sean takes her on hikes and he's like, no phones, and she's like, why not? And he's like, just no phones. Like, they don't really give her any solid answers for anything, and they have tattoos on their backs of wings, and I think it's ravens, raven wings. And they talk about this guy called the Frenchman all the time, and it's just, there's so much mystery. They go to a party, and all these women have, like, wing necklaces, and some of them have wing tattoos. All of the men have wing tattoos, like, so she's like, she goes somewhere with Dom, and he's giving people money, and she's like, are you a drug dealer? And he's like, no. And she's like, so why are you giving people money? And he's like he doesn't answer her. So there's like this really big mystery to what's going on, and you don't even figure out what the mystery is until the second book. And even then, it's still a mystery. I really loved the way that she wrote it. Like, it really kept me on the edge of my seat, and like, this is the definition of a page turner. Like, you don't want to put it down. And it was just fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so that's my non-spoiler review. I read these in March of 2021. So honestly, I haven't emotionally recovered. I haven't. I think this is one of those series that I will recommend to people all the time. Like, oh, you haven't read that? Read it. If you can, read it. It's so good. Like, highly recommend. So yeah, so I'm gonna get into the spoilery stuff, with Flock. Actually, I don't know if there's really anything else to talk about with Flock. This really starts out the story, obviously, but there's so much mystery that there's really not much that I want to say. It's just so good. I really love Dom, and I really love Sean, and I liked the dynamic not only between Cecilia and Dom and Cecilia and Sean, but between the three of them, and like kind of like the respect that the two guys had for each other and the respect that they had for Cecilia. Also, Dom and Sean's friendship was just so sweet to me, like in a different kind of way. Like, they really, in like a very manly way. I know that sounds weird, but like they really do love each other, and really consider each other brothers. And I really liked their friendship and their brotherhood and their dynamic as well. I thought that was also written very well, and I really liked that and them as friends. Also, Pup. Oh my god, Pup. My heart. I think that they went into it really well, and it wasn't creepy or weird in any way. But honestly, that was an issue that I had, and this is a personal issue. I like books, romances especially, that have one person. I didn't really like the sharing, because at the end I wanted her to pick somebody, because I think too, I was just kind of like, is she gonna pick someone? And she doesn't have to. Which was a little depressing, but she didn't have to pick anyone. And did that depress me? Yes. Did I want her to pick someone? Yes and no, because I didn't know who I wanted her to pick. So, but it does end on a cliffhanger. I think it jumps. So she kind of like, she goes to the garage where Sean and Dom work, and they won't let her in. And she has become friends with like this entire group of people, and they start playing the song Cecilia by Simon and Garfunkel. And if you know that song, it was a little heartbreaking to read the end of this. And then she just kind of tries to talk to them, and they just kind of like, they cut her out completely, and it was really sad. But it ends with her laying out in her backyard, like blaring this song, and the Frenchman showing up. But oh my god, I loved this. Like, I think my favorite part of all of it, which sounds weird because I was just like, I didn't like that she was with two guys, but her going on hikes and stuff with Sean on like sunny days, and then like reading and hanging out with Dom in the house on rainy days. I loved that dynamic. I thought it was so sweet. And Dom really is like the grumpy person who only is like, and it's not even like he's not grumpy towards her, he was just sweet to her at times, and I loved him. But I loved Sean's, like, he is the definition of a puppy dog, like that golden retriever boyfriend, and I also really loved him. So the next book, Exodus, starts out right where we leave off, her laying in the lounge chair in her backyard. She's like, "You're the Frenchman?" And then she talks to this guy called the Frenchman. Come to find out, the Frenchman is named Tobias. I don't know if we find that out or not. Yes, we do. Tobias. I'm pretty sure we do. I can't remember. Tobias, who is, wait for it, Dom's older brother. So the first part of this is coming from like the end of Flock. And it's been, so like they meet the first time and then it jumps forward in another, like in a couple of chapters, like 8 months. So she's been living there for a year and she's had no contact with anyone, even Tobias. And then Tobias comes by again and they kind of start a extremely toxic, abusive relationship. This one took an unexpected turn. I also went into this one blind. I wasn't mad about it. I really enjoyed this one. So going into this one, I was kind of like, what's gonna happen? Dom and Sean are not in this until like half of the book, because the first half of this book is, like I said, it jumps forward 8 months, and then Tobias kind of keeps coming by and like talking to Cecilia and hanging out with her, but being a jerk about it. So there were times where I was like, girlfriend, stop it, leave him alone, like make him leave, or like don't acknowledge it. But he kind of is like one of those personalities that you can't ignore. Like, he's French. Like, toxicity aside, I did really fall in love with Tobias. I think that they did again, she did a really good job of writing the relationship and their dynamic and how it was done. Also, I think my favorite scene in any book ever is the Swiss cheese mouth scene. I love that conversation between them. It's kind of a strained conversation, but it's one of my favorites. I think it really kind of changes a lot in their relationship, and I really like that scene, and I think it's really cute. And the whole Cecilia like not worrying or just being like, I don't know what the word is, like guilty, I guess, about her relationship with Tobias when Dom and Sean are like, they've fallen off the face of the earth. She has absolutely no idea where they are. She has called them, she has texted them, she has tried everything, and they're just not responding. She doesn't know where they are. So that's the first half of the book. I thought it was great. It starts the relationship between Tobias and Cecilia, and I thought it did a really good job. So I do think that at times Cecilia in the first part, as well as the second part of this, she's a little immature, and more so in the first part. And I think because this is Tobias, I think is 32. I think he's 32. He's like 12 years older than her, or 10 or 12. So he might be 34. I don't know. He's older than her. It's an age gap. And so she does seem a little immature at points, but it's also understandable, but also stupidity. The ending of the first part immensely pissed me off. I cried multiple times reading this book. This one, I have got to say, is the most heartbreaking of the three. I'm not going to say why, but it absolutely freaking broke me. This, again, I was like, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I was in a slump when I started reading these, and these got me kind of out of my slump and then put me back in another one, because these books, I think, are literally the definition of a page turner. Like, they keep you on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh my god, what's the secret? What's gonna happen? What is going on? Why do they all have tattoos? What's with all of this? What's happening? I need answers. It's like that, what's that TikTok He's like, I can't sleep. I need answers. That's how I felt reading these. Then we jump forward like 9 years, I think. Or 7 years. I can't remember. So 8 years? We jump forward 8 years. And Cecilia has left the town. I can't remember the name of the town. Triple Falls. So she's left Triple Falls and she's moved back home to where her mom is, I think. Or, yeah, where her mom and her, like, best friend live. And she is engaged to this guy. I think his name's Ben. God, I can't remember anything. I actually do. I remember a lot of this book. What's his name? Colin. His name's Colin. His name is not Ben. She's engaged to Colin, and she is like, I cannot do this. And she leaves and goes back to Triple Falls. At this point, I think she is like, she's a entrepreneur. She's like the CEO of something. She also owns half of her father's business, which her father passed away within the last 8 years. So she goes back, but I think he passed away like 3 or 4 years ago, so she like waited, and Tobias also has like a certain percentage of her dad's company, and there's so much more that goes into that. Like, it's so much that I can't talk about because it's so confusing to talk about because there's so much. There's absolutely so much, and the mystery of it is absolutely insane. But she goes back, and there's Tobias, and he's has a girlfriend or is engaged or something, and basically the story kind of starts over, which I wasn't particularly fond of. I wish that if she was going to do it, she would have just started another book, I guess. I don't know. Because we jump so much, and then they're not together, so their relationship is basically starting over. And they don't really know each other much anymore. So it was kind of hard for me anyway to get back into part 2 or part 3. But I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed Cecilia's growth over the years. Like, she really goes from being kind of this naive girl who kind of lets people walk all over her to this strong woman, very, very strong in willpower and just like girl power baby. And I think Sean and Dom had a lot to do with that, which I really enjoyed that jump and that growth. And I think Tobias also had a little bit to do with it. I think her hurt from him not really helped, but also turned her into the woman that she is. That sounds really bad, and that's not what I mean. What I mean by that is that, unfortunately, like, when bad things happen, it usually changes our perspective of things and hardens people. And not that that's a good thing, but I do think that it helped her with her career and her path and what she ended up doing, because she is in an extremely male-dominated career. So I don't mean that they helped her by like being jackasses towards her, but they helped her in you are now in the real world, you gotta get your shit together, and you have to understand that these people aren't going to help you, like, you need to help yourself. I hope that makes sense. If you haven't read the book, it's not going to make sense, but yeah. It felt a little slow, but I mean, again, she is writing kind of the start of a new book, so there's really not much you can do when you're creating, I don't want to say like a new world or new characters, but grown characters. Like, you're creating different characters in a sense, so you're meeting new characters in the third part. I understand what Kate Stewart was trying to do with the whole, this is real life and bad shit happens and there's really not much you can do about it type thing. And I appreciate it, but it was fine. I'm still sad about certain things. I wish she would have spoken to a character more, other than we get like one scene with the character and it made me cry, but I wish that there had been more conversations. I wish that they would have kind of helped heal that relationship a little bit more. I think it did a teensy bit, but not as much as I would have liked. There's also a scene with someone in a shop. She like goes in to go shopping at this store where she had like an old friend, like she knew the woman from 8 years ago, and she's like, you know, I would never. And the girl's like, well, neither would my husband. And I kind of like, I get both sides, but I don't know why I didn't like that scene. It just was kind of like, it seemed unnecessary to me. Kind of like, well, my husband wouldn't. And it's like, cool. Why are you so defensive? Like, I don't get it. So your husband wouldn't, but you're mad. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. And I didn't really like that character in general. I think her name's Tessa. And, I wasn't a fan of her at all, really. I thought she was annoying. So, I don't know. This book, it took that unexpected turn. We find out all of the secrets, and it was so good. It made me feel all the feels, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the writing and the characters, and just Tobias, man. Is he an asshole? Yes. Do I love him? Also, yes. Also, the scene that I was talking about in the beginning, there's a scene, she goes to a bar, Cecilia goes to a bar, and she gets drunk, and she throws up, and this woman gets out of the car with Tobias, and she's like, hi, babe. And Tobias is like, hi, I'll talk to you later. And he takes her home. I think Tobias takes Cecilia home. I think that's what happens. And she goes to bed, and he shows up at like 3 a.m. pounding on the door, which is absolutely terrifying, let me tell ya. Like, I cannot imagine. And so, pounding on the door, and he comes in, he's like, are you happy? I just broke up with my girlfriend, or they're engaged or something, I don't know. And they just have, like, it's kind of really aggressive sex, and it upset me a little bit. Not something that I think ruins the story or anything, but it was a little too aggressive for me. So, yeah. But I'm still currently processing these books. Which might sound stupid since it's been a year, but, like, so much happened, and they're just fantastic, and I loved them. The epilogue in that one is, okay, spoiler, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear it, please don't. Or maybe I don't have to, maybe, I don't know, it kind of is. I'm gonna not say names, but basically someone dies, and she takes that someone's car, and then she disappears. And, there's also, oh my god, there's secrets with Tobias's parents who have passed away, and they're involved with Cecilia's dad and mom, and it's just freaking wild. And I think we find out, no, we don't, we find out in the second one. So there's just a lot of secrets. But she takes that someone's car and disappears, and she buys a little cafe, and she's gone for like 8 or 9 months, and then she comes out of the cafe one day, and there's Tobias, and she's like, oh my god, please don't take the car. And he's like, no, I'm here to stay. And that is how we jump into the finish line. This one, we get dual point of view, which we didn't get in the first two. And I was really excited about that, because not only in this one do we get dual point of view, but we get Tobias's childhood and Dom's childhood and baby Sean, and it was super cute and I loved that. So we jump in at the same spot. She drives them back to her house and she has a little French bulldog named Beau, which I thought was super cute because I can't, does he want a dog named Beau or something? It had to do with Tobias and I thought it was cute. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy this because it is very like domestic, but as I've said before, I love domestic shit. I love people being happy. I love people living in a house and having cute moments and like solving their problems. I like that. If you don't like that, then that's fine. You probably won't like this. So basically, I gave this 4.5 stars, another 5. So I think I gave all of them 4.5 stars. I don't know why I didn't give them all 5. I think I do know. This one, I know why I gave 5 stars, or 4.5. The epilogue really made this pop up a point star, though, because I loved it. I'm not going to talk about the epilogue, though, yet. So, again, we kind of start over with their relationship, Tobias and Cecilia. But this time, they're alone, and they don't have all of, like, kind of this background noise to worry about. And they're living in this house, and she's very closed off towards him because she is still very hurt. And he's kind of like, will you please just talk to me? And she's like, I don't really wanna. And I really liked the progression of their relationship again. I thought this worked a lot better than the second, third part in Exodus. I don't know, I just have a love for Tobias. I was really upset with how the first one ended, but reading the second and the third, I just fell in love with Tobias, and I just wanted to for her to forever be with him. I loved him. As I said, we get Tobias's present point of view as well as his childhood point of view, and basically how, I have not mentioned this at all because it's a spoiler, but how the Ravenhood has started, which is their, like, I don't want to call it their gang, but like their group, I guess. I don't know. Which is why they have the wings. And I really liked learning that. I thought that was super interesting, and I think that's why I enjoyed this so much, was finding out about their childhood, because Dom and Tobias and Sean, they're all very mysterious and they don't really open up much, so getting his point of view at ages 11 and 18 and 24 was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And we also got Sean and Dom at those ages, so it was really interesting to read that. Also Tyler, who I have not mentioned, but there's like a scene with Tyler who is also in the childhood. He's not much of a character. There's a lot of names in the first one, especially with all of like the members of the Ravenhood, and it's kind of like, who is that? And you don't really need to know. Just continue. You don't need to know who they are. It's not important. The Tyler, he's in it. He is important. It's amazing. I thought it was really interesting. She like is watching TV and like the president speaking, and there's Tyler. Like, their little club gang, whatever, has trickled up in the politics of it all and has gone, he's a Secret Service member, like he's guarding the president. Like, they have really worked their way up and are doing what they have intended to do all these years, and it was really cool. The only thing, and I think this is my drop down to the 4.5 stars and not 5, was that Cecilia being behind the finale and us as readers having absolutely no idea, even though we're in her head. I don't like it when authors do that. I understand sometimes, but it just didn't seem like right to me, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't like that. I thought that we would have known because, You know, if you're in someone's head and you're getting their thoughts and hearing what they're thinking, you're gonna hear what they think is happening with the secret. Does that make sense? So I just didn't like it. I also understand that there are ways around that and how we were also in Tobias's head. So if 1 second she was thinking that and we jumped to Tobias's head, we're not going to get her thoughts on what's happening and how she is having these other people help her. And Tobias also not knowing. I just thought it felt weird. So yeah. That's it. I loved this. I think I'm not really sure which one is my favorite. I don't think I really have a favorite. I think I would literally recommend all of these to someone, but like I said, if you like the way the first one ends, don't read the second and the third. Leave it as a standalone. You can do that, I think, anyway. But that's it. I've been trying to film that for a year and it's just been difficult for me. I don't know why. I think this is one of the series that will go down as one of my favorites. I loved the writing and I loved the characters, and I left those pages like heartbroken, and I really enjoyed that. So again, if you need to check trigger warnings, honestly, I don't think there's that many, but there could be for some people, so check those. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you've read these, please comment and we can talk in the comments about what you liked and what you didn't like, and can give my opinions as well. All of my social medias will be linked down below if you want to follow those. I would greatly appreciate it. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe and all that jazz. Yeah, that's it. I'm so happy I finally have filmed that, and I'm mostly proud of it right now, so I hope I like it when I'm editing it. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!